What's up, guys? This is Rikk. As I've mentioned before, I know that I take a long time to do some videos. I always have ideas, and then life happens, and I end up getting sidetracked and not doing them as quickly as I would like to. Just an update: I am still working on the zine that I was talking about online. Planning on calling it "Long Live the Horror." Which I think is pretty appropriate. I have some artwork drawn for it. I have interviews from all the people that I was going to include. I just need to get some of my parts done, which, as you may or may not know, could be difficult for me because I'm also in grad school and doing an internship, in which case I'm pretty busy. Aside from that, I don't know if you guys know or not or care. My band JXV just released our single for a song called Trick or Treat. I'll provide the link below. We did a music video which was shot and directed by my cousin Ishmael Montiel, and I think it came out pretty cool. Sort of B-movie-esque qualities to it, and it's about the movie Trick or Treat with Sam running around and being that sort of spirit of Halloween, if you will. Aside from that, we are playing our final show, which will also be a release show for our album Ritual here in San Diego at the Che Cafe on Friday the 13th, which is an ode to the fact that we're originally named Jason Voorhees. That's what JXV stands for. If any of you watching this are from San Diego or Southern California, I would love to have you guys come out and get down and say hello. Anyways, so today's video here on the Pumpkin Patch is sort of more of a band shout-out review type thing. There are a lot of underrated, unsigned bands in the horror punk genre, and this one is definitely one of my favorites, although they're not a band anymore. I figured that I would give a little shout out to them and introduce you guys to them if you haven't heard them. They were a band from Cincinnati called The Creature. They put out 2 albums before they split. They were actually working on their 3rd one, to my knowledge. I do have both of the singer, bassist, singer, guitarist online. And to my knowledge, they were working on a 3rd album, which I was really pumped for because their 2nd album was amazing, but they both, ended up parting ways and doing some different projects, which are still pretty good. In this review, I'll talk a little bit about their 1st and their 2nd album, and yeah. So their 1st album is called Dark Night of the Scarecrow, which is pretty badass, very raw. Mixes like Sam Hain style horror punk, or like death rock, as some would call it, with like thrashy skater punk, a little bit of like elements that are more death rock in my opinion. And the artwork on the album is awesome. Robert Inhuman, who runs Realicide Youth Records and Dark Ceremony Records, really does a phenomenal job of putting things together. I'll show you that. This is the disc that he screen printed. This is the cover art. This is the back art with some pictures and the track listing. And then here's a little inside art. Same thing, some live shots, which is pretty cool. It says The Creature, Dark Night of the Scarecrow, and then has the players. It says where it was recorded, who it was recorded by. I believe it also came with a poster, which I have on my wall. I unfortunately can't move the camera too much to show it, but there's an image on my wall that's from that album. It has like a scarecrow on it with some bats coming out, which is pretty cool. yeah, like I said, the album is awesome, very raw. If you like Sam Hain, early Danzig stuff, even like some of the heavier Misfit songs with Danzig on it, I think you'll dig them for this first album. I do have the second album. Unfortunately, I lent it to my friend Joey. Joey, give me my CD back. I need it. So I don't have it. He was in the military at the time, and hopefully he didn't lose it. But in that album, I actually prefer better than the first one musically. It was called Cemetery Songs. I also have the poster on the wall of that too, which is a picture of a bat, which is pretty badass. The songs on that one are a little less raw than the first album, and it's that horror punk mix with like skate punk, like JFA, bands like that, and there's actually a little bit of post-hardcore in my opinion, not necessarily in the music, but in the vocal delivery, because they have two vocalists. So Tyler is doing more of the like low tone horror punk goth vocals a little bit, whereas Ving is doing the sort of yelling, and it's very like, I don't know if you're familiar with Touche Amore, but it kind of has that tone to it, a little bit of like early screamo stuff, which to me is awesome because I enjoy that sound, and it's kind of more of a background thing aside from one or two songs. My favorite track on that album is called Nuisance, where it is primarily the screams like that, and the song itself, super fast, super hard-hitting punk song. It's actually pretty cool. I figured out how to play it on drums, very aggressive. Yeah, with that one, I don't remember much about the artwork since I haven't had the CD physically in a few years now. But I will post up a picture of both album covers so you guys can see them. And the third album that was supposed to come out was called Father's Floorboard, something like that. I'll correct myself, but the artwork for that was badass. Like I said, they mixed like the skate punk with the horror punk. So in this picture, it was like under Father's Floorboard, I think. And in this picture, it had this pumpkin character doing like an ollie off of a ramp, and some ghouls in the background, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I was stoked for it, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. If any of you guys know of them or know those guys, and let me know below if you know if they're getting back together or not. Save from the Creature, I do want to recommend checking out Realiside Youth Records as well. The company that they're on, or the little DIY label that they're on. Like I said, Robert Inhuman puts a lot of time into the work that he does, running that label, doing the artwork on the ones that he does do. He was also at one point in a band called Dreams in Hell, which is like this badass death rock band. They actually put out, Realiside Youth put out one of They Feed at Night's re-releases for us, which was pretty cool. But yeah, there's a bunch of different bands on there. Unfortunately, I don't think there are as many horror punk bands aside from The Creature. I guess that's it. I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to them and let you all know that they exist, and definitely recommend you all check them out. What do you guys think? Have you checked them out? Do you enjoy their stuff? Let me know your opinion on them. Aside from that, leave a like, please subscribe, and check out any of the links that I put below. Thanks for watching, guys.